WFYI podcasts are brought to you by Visit Bloomington. Bloomington, Indiana is home to a wide range of live music events and venues. More info on upcoming performances at musicbloomington.com.
This is WFYI News Now. It's December 18th, and I'm Darian Benson. Later in the show, new third-party studies could help inform whether a pipeline can be placed in Tippecanoe County to take water down to an industrial park in Lebanon.
If this is right, then tell us it is right. If you don't think it is, then tell us it's not.
That's coming up. But first, these headlines. Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department Chief Randal Taylor announced Friday he will resign from his position at the end of the year. In a video statement, Taylor said he had not been sure how much longer he would serve as chief and that Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hogsett decided to, quote, go a little different route after the two discussed his future with the department.
And trust me, I have no animosity towards the mayor. I consider him a good man and a friend.
Taylor said he will remain with IMPD for the next year and a half in a different role. He has been on IMPD's force for 36 years total and served as chief for the last 4. Earlier this year, some clergy members called for Taylor to resign. They cited issues with transparency and accountability for IMPD officers following instances of police violence. And the city market will temporarily close while the redevelopment of that city block gets underway. Jill Sheridan has more on the historic Market House.
The market currently houses 16 vendors, about half its capacity. Businesses got word that the market would have to close for planned renovations this fall. The city announced vendors will receive free rent in January and February ahead of the coming March 1st closure, which could last up to 2 years. Market business has struggled over the past few years between the pandemic, road construction, and offices moving from the nearby city-county building. A $200 million public-private city market campus redevelopment project announced last year will reshape the entire city block, bringing housing, a rehabbed gold building, and new public spaces. The Indianapolis City Market Corporation, a nonprofit that has run the market for decades, will no longer manage day-to-day operations. The partnership will hire a private company to manage the market when it reopens. I'm Jill Sheridan.
Indiana University President Pamela Whitten earned a $162,000 bonus. The IU Board of Trustees awarded the bonus to Whitten in August. The amount was confirmed through a records request. The board praised Whitten for leadership as president. In the August meeting, trustees highlighted her work forming the IU 2030 Strategic Plan and IU Indianapolis. Trustee Jeremy Morris compared Whitten to a popular performer, calling her the Beyoncé of higher education. Whitten earns $650,000 each year as president of IU. The bonus is 25% of her pay, the maximum amount allowed by her contract. And Greater Lafayette officials say they're nearing a contract with a third-party group they hope will review the state's water data. The Indiana Finance Authority is currently conducting 2 water studies in the central Indiana region. Those studies are expected to inform whether a pipeline can be placed in Tippecanoe County to take water down to an industrial park in Lebanon. Lafayette Mayor Tony Rosworski says local officials will soon reach a deal with a Boston-based organization to review the state's studies. He says in initial meetings, the group underlined that science may ultimately back up the state's findings.
And they've made it clear that that's the only way they'll work, is we want a true, independent review. If this is right, then tell us it is right. If you don't think it is, then tell us it's not.
Early findings from the state's study into regional water availability found there was abundant water to support growth in both Lebanon and the greater Lafayette area. The final results of the study are expected in January 2024, with a more comprehensive water study expected to release sometime in the fall. That's all for today's episode of WFYI News Now. Our podcast is produced by the following people who live in your community: Abriana Herron, Drew Daudelin, Kendall Antron, who composed the music for this podcast, and me, Darian Benson. Our news director is Sarah Neal-Estes. If you liked today's episode, remember to subscribe and share. And follow WFYI on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube to check in on our newsroom throughout the day. Thanks for listening. We'll be back tomorrow.
WFYI podcasts are brought to you by Visit Bloomington. Bloomington, Indiana is home to a wide range of live music events and venues. More info on upcoming performances at musicbloomington.com.